Still listening to Inspiration 92.3 FM, your number one family radio. It is time for pay-per-view. We'll look at stories that made it to the front page of the newspaper. We're live on Facebook at Inspiration 92.3 FM. We're also live on Instagram at Official Kafayet. And you can stream live via the website as well at www.ifm923.com. Imo Ebong.
Hello, Kathy.
How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. Never been better.
Yeah, I know. Miss Azosumile. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, Kathy. How are you?
Very well. I hear we're going to have a new coach on, was it Thursday? They said they're going to announce the new coach. For Super Eagles.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Chelsea.
No, not Chelsea, no.
Chelsea doesn't need a new coach. They
Who
have one already.
Who do you think our new coach will be?
I don't know what's going on with Nigerian football. I don't want to look there.
You don't want to look?
Yesterday I saw a list of they want to play Ecuador and Mexico. I say, your mates are planning for World Cup. You're planning for friendly against people that are going to the World Cup. I just can't bring myself to fit into what's going on in Nigerian football. I've been disappointed enough and I really want to look there. Yeah. I mean, we didn't qualify for the World Cup. In Qatar later this year, we will not go.
That's heartbreaking. Any Russia and Ukraine update before?
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine now is experts are saying that Mr. Putin is preparing himself for a long war, especially in the Donbass region, and the way things are going. This is not a conflict that will end soon, you know. That's the talk, and then in a place called Izium, 44 bodies of civilians were discovered in the pits.
My goodness.
You know, really sad. Ukrainian civilians. And then the House of Reps in the U.S. yesterday voted $32 billion to help Ukraine. That bill will now go to the Senate in the U.S. The U.S. is pouring resources into Ukraine, a lot of resources. So we'll see how that pans out indeed. But Ukraine is very proud of what they are doing in the Kharkiv region.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Ukrainian military commanders were saying they chased out a Russian offensive. They fought it back away from that Kharkiv region. So while we're here, that was ongoing on several fronts. On the diplomatic front, is ongoing. In the Kharkiv region in Donbass, that was again ongoing. Mr. Putin is clear of this and he has told the world that if you interfere, you are our enemy. And this is now going to be a long war, the way observers are looking at it. Because the conflicts that people thought probably end in a month or less. But with what we have seen now, Ukraine is resilient, standing firm, you know. Yeah, a long war, especially in the Donbass area. I think the war should prepare itself.
All right. Over to you, Imo.
Uncertainty in APC over Jonathan Emefiele Adesina. Uncertainty in APC over Jonathan Emefiele Adesina. And it comes with the rider, Adamu declines ex-president's proposal. CBN governor in dilemma. AFDB president, mum. Submission of forms closes. Is it true that there's an extension?
Yeah, there's a small extension. I think it came out last night. I don't know why the APC chooses the 10 of night to announce this extension. I just saw it. This guideline is different from what we thought. And I saw it as a revised guideline for sale of phone continue until tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.
Yeah, till tomorrow 12. And so submission will now end the day after. And then screening commences, I think, on Friday for members of, for aspirants in the House of Assembly. And then on Saturday for the rest. You know, there are adjustments here and there, you know. But I don't think the APC is adjusting because they want to raise funds. Because if it's fundraising, they have raised enough. We're talking about 28 aspirants for the presidential ticket now. And that's small. That's the tip of the iceberg compared to aspirants who have bought governorship nominations, House of Reps nominations. That's even the largest because we're talking about over 1,000 aspirants now for the House of Assembly at 20 million per aspirant. In the Senate, they have well over 100 aspirants who have paid 30 million for the nomination. You know, people who are trying to count the money together, accountants and auditors who are putting the figures together. So the APC has probably struck 28 billion at the moment. You know, so
28 billion.
From the sale of nomination funds alone.
Only.
You know. But that's even a small amount compared to what they will need to prosecute a general election of the nature they are going into. A presidential election, 35 or 34 states for governorship. And then, you know, but the focus has remained on the House of Assembly, on the presidential primary, because of the crowd of aspirants that have gathered that field. You know, one one guy was writing this morning, Farouk Perugi, that he does not believe that this is to raise funds. I think that this crowding of the APC space is to knock out a certain candidate, is to frustrate him and to knock him out. Because if it's about funding, the APC will do what the PDP did in 2015. President Jonathan used state funds to campaign and spread state funds directly from the CBN. In 2019, President Buhari repeated the same. They used state funds to prosecute the general election for their political party and won the elections. Why would 2023 be different? It's not about the funding or the war chest. The war chest is ready, it's available. This is just to frustrate the candidates, perhaps, and push them out of the party. Now, come about the 3 aspirants that the newspaper is saying APC is in a state of uncertainty.
Jonathan, Emefiele, Adesina.
3 of them. The Jonathan one is taking a new life by itself. I'm sure people have read what has happened with President Jonathan. And if this is true, then Jonathan himself is the one cutting this ticket. Because according to what we have read, and it's in all the papers, if you read this day today, this day is explicit about it. President Jonathan actually paid for this nomination from through Governor Badaru, who himself is an aspirant in this race. And yes. And then went to President Buhari and said, I have paid for the nomination form. And President Buhari advised him, go and see Adamu Abdullahi, the national chairman of the party. And when he met with Adamu Abdullahi told him, I cannot guarantee a consensus. I cannot. If you have purchased nomination form, enter the fray, declare your intention. I cannot guarantee you that you'll be consensus candidate. But Jonathan wants more. He wants an open endorsement. He doesn't want to be screened. He doesn't want a primary. He cannot face the likes of Bola Tinubu, Yemi Osinbajo, and the primaries. These were his conditions. And Adamu Abdullahi is telling him, if the president sent you to me, I cannot guarantee this. So Jonathan issues a press conference, a press statement overnight to distance himself. But all is not over yet. Absolutely. Because nobody knows what President Jonathan and President Buhari has discussed. Now, Jonathan is out of the country. He's gone away to Dakar for 2 weeks on ECOWAS election something, And that means even if that form purchased for him enters the fray, he will not be screened. Because the APC screening is this weekend. So there's quite a lot to think on that front about the Jonathan campaign. And different newspapers have different accounts of what indeed has happened. But none is exonerating Jonathan. All of these reports are saying that Jonathan knows what he's doing. He wants to enter the race and he wants to run. Actually, Adesina, the guy at the AFD being taken over his mom. 4 days now since they purchased the form in his name. One very nebulous group, a coalition of, we don't know who they are, these people. At least for Jonathan, is a nomadic herdsmen and Albachiris that paid the 100 million according to the people that paid for it. Yeah. For Aki Adesina, this group is nebulous, we don't know them. And Aki Adesina, after 4 days now, hasn't spoken not a word, about whether he will run or not. And then Emefiele, it's more doing by rice farmers and friends of Godwin. According to people who paid for this form, you can see how this thing goes. Just choose a name and do that. But Emefiele has gone to court, and that's why his position is uncertain, because in the court they told him, go and bring INEC and go and bring Attorney General and come on Thursday, tomorrow, May 12th. That's when the court will hear the case he's asking. He wants insulation. He wants to be protected as CBN governor while he runs for the president. So that matter will be here tomorrow in court. So you can see this for certain these 3 men. And I'm sure the likes of Bola Tinubu who have been campaigning since, we're very bitter. The guys of Yemi Osinbajo, the guys who paid for form, earlier on. We'll be very worried that these 3 players are spoilers. The way it is, because nobody is really certain about who's pushing their agenda. There's talk here that the way the APC is looking at this race, they might settle, if they cannot settle for any of these 3, as consensus, they might look in the north, especially if the PDP throws up a northern candidate with potential to win the elections. All of these are subjects of a lot of speculation in the media. But Dave Umahi, the governor of Ebonyi, was the one who finished the matter yesterday, after he finished the meeting with President Buhari at the villa. And he was asked about Jonathan entering the race. He said Guinness Book of World Record is not filled up yet. Oh my God. If Jonathan enters this race, the matter will enter Guinness Book of Record. Because how? It's going to be one of the newest miracles of the world. America wonder. Yes. Because at first, it's not our party man. Yeah. Second, this is the same Jonathan. We campaigned against in 20... Jonathan is completely advanced to the policies and programs of our political party. So how are we going to endorse him and put... Guinness Book of Records is not filled up yet. Those are his words. Governor Dave Umahi, I begin to admire the way Governor Dave Umahi deals with issues. Small humor inside and move on. Because that's what it will be if Jonathan indeed emerges the presidential candidate of the APC. I sit here every day and I tell you this, that I still don't have a feeling of how it's going to happen.
How?
I don't have that.
But nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Look at the reports in the papers that he actually met the national chairman of the APC, who welcomed him to the party. And then he went on to say, President Buhari sent me to you. And that one, I mean, I think the APC elected a man like Adesina Abdullahi as chairman because they know that he's probably fearless. He's not afraid to tell anybody anything. You know, he's also a juggernaut. He's been around politics for as long as democracy returned in this country, longer than that. You know, so, and I remember they call him the king of the wizards. Yeah. He just told him that I cannot guarantee you endorsement or consensus, as you call it. You know,
and the PDP isn't saying much about this.
The PDP issued a statement eventually last night, but I think it was more on Emefiele than what is going on
with Jonathan.
With Jonathan, you know, Jonathan is supposed to be a leader of the PDP. I told you yesterday.
National.
Yes, this is a man who was not just deputy governor, but became governor on the platform of the PDP. Became vice president, acting president, and through the doctrine of necessity, eventually became president on that platform of that party, and then lost the election in 2015. He was supposed to be like the guardian of the party while he contested elections to get power back. But Jonathan has been aloof over the years, and he's cutting some kind of friendship with Buhari using ECOWAS. You know, he's an envoy on ECOWAS. That's the trip he has gone to Dakar for 2 weeks now. You know, a special envoy from President Buhari to ECOWAS. You know, but it appears that beyond the ECOWAS, they're also talking
They're discussing other matters.
So, you know, because I don't think Jonathan can deny anymore, you know, the accounts that have given the last 24 hours of his meeting with the APC chairman. Because that meeting they give is now not public. There have been pictures of them together. Yesterday, a fellow was telling me that it was Adam Abdullahi that went to visit Jonathan's office. But the pictures that we see, it is not clear. It doesn't look, I don't know their homes, I don't know their offices, but it doesn't look like Adam was the visitor. It looks like Jonathan was the visitor.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit the subscribe button for more, leave a comment, and like. Thank you.